How about 5 fun card ideas using one stamp set from Penny Black? Hi there, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and I've got this wonderful stamp set from Penny Black, and it's time for a Give Me 5. So I thought I want to take this one stamp set called Get Comfy and use it on 5 different cards. I love that it's got a big bold pattern, but it's also got some fun images in there as well. And I thought I'd start by making my own background design. So I've got 2 of the jumper images. So these are like those Christmassy Christmas sweaters. We don't really wear them over here. It's a little bit hot, but I have seen Christmas t-shirts very similarly. Maybe I need me one of those. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm stamping out the 4 images that I've chosen. So 2 of the sweatshirts, there's a stocking, and also one of the beanies from the stamp set. And I've got a piece of Nina 110-pound cardstock, and I'm white heat embossing my own background pattern. Now I like to stamp each image separately and then add the embossing powder. That way I can see where I need to stamp the next image, but I don't come in with my heat tool until the very end, and I actually heat set them all at once. It just makes it easier. You just have to be careful not to accidentally hit the powder when you're stamping, or with your fingers. Now I've grabbed some of the Distress Oxide inks, and I'm using a blending brush just to add some colour randomly across the background. I've got some pinks and blue and a blue-green, and this is the colour theme that I'm going to run through all of my cards today. When I did come in with the blues here, I found that the pink oxide ink sitting on the paper was making the ink purple as I was popping it onto the cards, onto the panels. So I did have to flip my scrap cardstock or my scrap paper over because I didn't want purple. I wasn't going for that. Now I did have to cut my panel down just a little bit. I've popped it up on some fun foam, and I've added a sentiment which I just stamped in some black pigment ink from the Christmas Moments stamp set. Kept it very, very simple, this card. And I did add some clear, no, they're not clear, they're an opaque kind of droplet. They're really sweet actually. They look like snow. I like them. And I added 3 of those. I like to add them near my sentiment and it just sort of gives it a little bit of something else on a very clean and simple card design. Okay, for my next card, I thought it'd be fun to use this Cup of Joy image, and I'm just doing some simple Copic colouring. I've stamped it out on some Nina 80-pound cardstock in Copic friendly ink, an alcohol friendly ink, and I have sped the colouring up. There is a bit of colouring in today's cards. I have kept it all fairly simple, and if you do want to see a full list of the colours that I've used, they'll be at my blog, and I'll put the link in the description below. But also I have most of the lids off to the side as I'm colouring. I added a lot of ink on the cup itself. I just couldn't get the depth that I wanted. I didn't want it to be too blue-green, but then the blue was just getting darker. So in the end I did come in with the BG72, and that just added a nice sort of shadow on the cup. I tried the toner greys, but that wasn't working for me either. And when I was doing the pink candy cane, I'd overfilled my pens, so you might have seen I had a splodge of ink. But to fix that, just simply take the other end of the Copic marker off, and that just sort of helps even out the ink on the inside of the barrel, and it stops it from happening again. I do weigh my pens when I fill them now, but obviously I got a little bit excited with that one. And by using the lighter weight Nina, it was actually much easier for me to fussy cut this image out, ready to go on my background panel that I'm stamping out. This is a really fast and easy way to create a background. I've used my Fiskus stamp press, just lined up the large pattern stamp out of the Get Comfy stamp set, and using a nice light blue ink and repeating that same pattern down this piece of cardstock. It took like 3 stamps, and I've got this really sweet background that would look great with any image that you want to put on the front of that. Anything sort of wintry or Christmassy would work really well with this pattern, and I do show you another way to use this a little bit later on, so hold on for that. And I did have to cut this panel down a little bit just to sit it on the front of my card, and I wanted to add a sentiment, and it's from the Frosty Hello stamp set, and I'm using my Misty tool here and some strategically placed post-it notes to selectively stamp this in black directly on, or in between the pattern actually. Now I added this directly to the front of a card just using some adhesive. It just means there's less bulk for postage, but the main reason was I wanted to add a mini action wobbler. And if you've ever used these things before, they are awesome, but gee, they pop out a lot off a card. So I just thought by having my pattern paper directly on the card front, it was going to be less bulky. And look at that wobble. Actually, the camera doesn't film the wobble as fast as it actually wobbles. It's faster in real life. On to my next card now, and this is another jumper, sweatshirt card. I'm stamping it and colouring it with the Copic colours. I am, like I said, using the same colours throughout all of my card designs today. Any of these cards could be used even as like a thank you for a Christmas gift, or they could be used like winter wishes. They don't have to be for Christmas. You could use these ideas for other occasions as well. They don't have to be winter or Christmas orientated. Hopefully you just get inspired by the actual design. You can look at something and make it your own and just have some fun with it. Even if you just use the same colours in a card, but do something totally different, as long as you're having fun. That's the main reason why we're here, right? And I do have to say that the red armbands and sweatbands, or the edges, the collar and everything on this colour combo really make me happy. It's not a colour combo I would normally put together, blue, pink and red, but I think it's fun. Aren't these meant to be ugly sweaters after all? I've got a really simple sentiment here, and I'm white heat embossing it on some black cardstock, and it's from the Bright and Light stamp set, and I just cut it down and popped it up on the front of a top fold card. I do like to use black foam squares behind black sentiments. I find that you can't see them as easily, and I did come in with yet another action wobble. And I'm thinking, why not? Because I've got them there and I might as well use them. I'm so good at hoarding things that it's about time I started using some of these supplies that I've got. So maybe then I can get some more and not feel so bad. Alright, now on to my next 2 cards. I'm going to be using these cardstocks. They're actually 5 different scrap pieces of cardstock. I've chosen them. They're in the same colours of the previous cards that I've made. And I'm stamping out this border stamp from the Get Comfy set, which is actually, I think, the main reason why I really like this set so much. It was actually this border stamp. I think it can be used for so many different techniques, and it's a really fun pattern, and I just loved it as soon as I saw it. So that's why I had to make some more cards with it. So what I'm doing here is I'm stamping the embossing ink and then adding the embossing powder. This gives me plenty of time to come back and heat set them all at the same time. As long as I've added the embossing powder on top of the embossing ink, it's not going to dry out. You do have to be careful not to touch the embossing powder before you've heat set it, otherwise then you've got to start again. And no one wants to do that. I just love this red. I love the look of that pattern on the red. How cool is that? I did come in then and cut each of these into strips, and I did vary it depending on whether I wanted some thinner strips or some wider strips, and I used the pattern itself to create my strips, and I did that for all 5 different colours. The only thing that I would do differently next time would be to cut the cardstocks or use larger pieces of cardstock like this red one. Was just easier for me to cut it. I could use the guide wire, but I actually had more to hold on to, and it helped keep it straight while I was cutting it. I've got a piece of Nina 110-pound cardstock, and what I'm doing here is literally just laying my strips of pattern and in alternating sort of patterns and colours and widths. And this is cut just smaller than the front of my card because I want to pop this panel up on top of the front of my card. Now I do have some leftover scraps of cardstock here, and don't worry, I'm going to be using those. But first, I know I'm being brave here, I'm using my Tim Holtz trimmer. I think that's what it's called. Guillotine trimmer. And it worked. I had to stand up and use it. I don't know if you've been here before, you might know I have trouble with that particular guillotine trimmer, and I'm guessing it's because I don't usually stand up to cut my cardstock, and I find I shift my paper. Does my head in. Anyway, this cute little deer here that I'm colouring now is from the Cozy Winter stamp set, and I've got a speech bubble that I want to create to go with the deer. So I've stamped out a sentiment from the Christmas Moments stamp set, and this speech bubble die from the chat bubbles is a solid die, so I've just created a template out of a scrap piece of cardstock and I'm holding it in place, and that way I can line up the die before I die cut it and know that it's going to cut the speech bubble exactly where I want over the sentiment. I've popped up the front panel that I created before with some fun foam, and I think this is probably my favourite card of today. I don't know, let me know in the comments below which one's yours. I'd like to know, because they are a little bit different, the cards today. They're similar they're different, you know how it goes. But this deer, oh, I added a little reindeer nose. I had to, like a Rudolph one. The final image for my last card today, it's also from the Cozy Winter stamp set. Now I have sped up the colouring like I said, but if you do want to watch it more slowly in more real time, you can actually do that in YouTube. Down, I think it's on the right lower corner of the picture, there's a thing you can click on to slow it down, but do beware, it slows the speaking down too, and I sound like a man. Might be a man. I'm more husky than normal, perhaps. Oh, I added a few details to the scarf here with this. This is a jelly roll pen. I've been trying this out lately, and I don't mind the old jelly roll. I don't have a lot of luck with the white gel pens, but that one is making me happy at the moment. I've die cut a frame. Now I used a couple of the dies to do this, just a simple rectangle for the middle die cut, but the outside border is from a great set called Simple Stackers. I used the scraps of my previous background to create a negative space window, stamped a sentiment which is from the Holiday Snippets stamp set. It's an older set but a goodie, and popped it up on the front of the card with my snowmen. So I just want to say thanks so much for joining me today. I'll have everything linked below. If you did like today's video, please click on the thumbs up button to let me know that you did. And if you haven't already, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel. I'm back here every week with new card making videos to share. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.